Hi everyone, I'm April and welcome to Ask Vinnie Thompson Daily Zoom meetings. Today we'll talk about why we need title insurance with a special guest, Mr. Osei Rubie from National Standard Abstract. So Vinnie, take it away.
All right. Thank you very much, April. For everybody who doesn't know, April is one of my very efficient and smart team members. She helps me put together these events, and we're getting better and better each time we do them. I thank you all for allowing me to experiment on you as we get better together in this COVID-19 season, and hopefully come out of this, with a new skill of communicating and bringing better information to the people that we service. So today we're going to talk about title insurance, right? I think the title insurance, especially in a place like New York, where your homes can be as old, guys. I just sold a home in Brooklyn from 1890 something. That's a large and long history of of passing on title from one person to another person. And New York City, we like love letters and giving tickets and summonses, and we got lots of issues here, which is why we need title insurance to the 10th power,
Right.
in my opinion.
Mhm.
Title insurance is a key area in real estate, right? Once again, one of those unsung heroes, kind of like the mortgage broker, right? We talk about the realtor, we talk about the buyer, we talk about the seller. But if you don't have clear title, you cannot transfer that title from one person to another. I like to have people in my background and people that I work with that help me get smarter before the transaction starts, during, and then after. So Osei Rubie, he owns National Standard Abstract. He's one of my go-to guys. I can always rely on him for getting great information in a timely fashion. I've seen him operate at a high level under pressure, and I definitely, consider him a referral partner, a very good person, and I want to have him on this live, excuse me, and on this Zoom call to talk about the importance of having title insurance.
Mm.
I'm not so old in the business, but I learn every day,
Yeah.
and it's always good for me as a realtor when I have my client that has an issue. I'm going to do a Rolodex of professionals. Who do I need? Oh, I need a divorce attorney, maybe an attorney that goes to court. Oh, I got to start this thing off with title to make sure we have clear title before we even begin. So, with no further ado, I want to bring to you Osei Rubie from National Standard Abstract.
Well, Vinny, thank you for that introduction. I really appreciate it. And it's a pleasure when we talk about the real estate business. And first and foremost, my son and I are the owners of National Standard Abstract. National Standard Abstract is a title insurance agency. What does that mean? There are two levels of entities that function within the title insurance industry. There are title insurance agencies like National Standard Abstract. There's what's called title insurance underwriters. The underwriters, there are approximately 60 or 70, somewhere in that number. These are publicly traded companies, and the vast majority of them, not all, but most of them are publicly traded. So First American, Chicago, Fidelity, and others. I started my career there and working with an underwriter. Why would somebody choose an underwriter as opposed to a title insurance agency? Having worked at one, I can tell you the reason why National Standard Abstract is so successful with real estate agents and brokers like yourself, lawyers, lenders, and real estate developers. Because of what you talked about, Vinny, and so many others like yourself that do business with us and are grateful for the continued support, is our specific and intense focus on customer service. Because we're a smaller firm, and when I say smaller, let me qualify that. National Standard Abstract, since we opened in 2015, has closed over $1 billion. We're getting closer to the $2 billion mark in closed real estate transactions. So we have
Now, hold on. I just want to go back. You said, was that a million or a billion? That was a billion? So to make
yeah,
sure I got it right.
yeah, it was $1 billion,
A billion.
and
Okay.
we're getting closer to the $2 billion mark, as a matter
Okay.
of fact. So the reason why I mentioned those numbers is because it helps people to understand and quantify the velocity and sheer volume size of the valuation of transactions that we close. So we close things as small as $200,000 on the purchase level. The largest one single size transaction that we closed has been for $250 million. So that gives you a range to understand, our, first of all, legal expertise when it comes to title insurance and dealing with challenging situations, be they a macro, transaction on the commercial level, or more specifically a short sale that may be very involved with the legal aspect and legal challenges that we have to overcome, which we'll get into in a few minutes. So why do people need title insurance? Well, there are a couple of reasons. The main and foremost reason for our audience to understand is it protects the buyer. So John Smith and Jane Smith are married and they are buying a residential home in Brooklyn. So as a result of that purchase, the attorney on their behalf might hire a company like National Standard Abstract in order to do, number one, in a purchase, we go back 40 years, because you talked about Brooklyn homes that are built in the 1800s, and somebody may say, well, wait a minute, how far back do you go? So typically we go back 40 years from the date that the title report is ordered. And when we go back 40 years, we're looking for that chain of title that you sort of alluded to, Vinny, in that from the date of the first point of our data of that 40 years going all the way forward to today, when the title report was ordered, and being able to now establish, between the two data points, the chronological history of the chain of title. So why is that relevant? Number one, we want to make sure that those points and that chain of title is authentic, that there's no fraud or anything that would threaten the marketability of clear and marketable title. And then the bank wants to see that as well, unless it's an all cash purchase. They are going to also analyze the title report to make sure that the money that's being lent to John and Jane Smith, the buyers who are your clients in this case, that they are protected as well from the standpoint of the lender.
Now,
The
let me
buyer's
just
attorney will say again.
right. Let me just go back to that key point so
Sure.
the people can understand. You said the marketability of the title. That's key. Just could you jump into that a little bit so people understand what that is and why you have to have that set up?
Absolutely, absolutely. So taking a step back, clear and marketable title. And what does that mean? That means that it's free of encumbrances, liens, judgments, foreclosures, and so forth. Anything that would be a defect or potential obstruction to having clear title. So let me go a bit further and give some examples. If there's a prior lien and or mortgage on the property that needs to be satisfied and extinguished when we are now conveying to John and Jane Smith, which are your clients. In this case, you pick National Standard Abstract. Our team goes to work and dives in, performing this title report, circulates the title report to all parties, bank attorney, seller's attorney, of course, the buyer's attorney. And all of these parties now analyze the same document, being the title report. And when going through it, we would go through the various exceptions that are outstanding. So that then now comes to the conclusion of being able to have and deliver clear and marketable title.
Okay. So, because no one wants to get a house that has issues later on, and people try to come after you. So you have to make sure that title is clear and marketable. Go ahead, Osei.
That's right. That's right. That's right. Absolutely. 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 So, moving now on into the process where we, let's say, have a title report that has an heirship situation, where, let's say, there are 5 brothers and sisters that are the owners, if you will, and these are the sellers. And in the initial conversations, there are 2 of these heirs and or siblings that are presented as the sellers. However, in a situation with heirship or to have heirship challenges, there may be other siblings, and that's why I said 5, and only 2 are being presented, that we need the approval of those other three. So I'll take a step back. There are two people that are presented as the sellers. However, because they are the heirs, H-E-I-R, heirs to this property, and they have been left to them by their parents. So these other three siblings may need to give authorization, with an affidavit, of course, so that it validates that no longer are any of these heirs of the five able to challenge for ownership later on post-closing. As you said, we want clear and marketable title, so that's an issue that would have to be clear.
Right. Let me ask you a question, Jose,
Sure.
because I'm surprised at the amount of information I'm always learning from smart people like yourself. Once upon a time in real estate, I did not know agent representing the buyer. I did not the buyer can choose his own title insurance company.
Yeah.
I didn't
Yeah.
know that. We just kind of
Yeah.
thought, oh, I don't know. I guess I go with whoever the attorney says.
Yeah.
So can the buyer, say, no, I'd like to use my own title insurance company for
So,
whatever reason?
right. So that's a great question. Thank you for that, Vinny. The buyer in the state of New York has the final authority to choose, select, and move forward with their own title company. And therefore, let me take it one step further beyond that, is that also the real estate agent or broker like yourself has the full power and authority, of course, to make recommendations, as they may not be familiar with title companies as much as somebody like yourself or others may be familiar with. So long as you and or any other agent or broker provides options to them, I know that we're in full compliance on being able to do so. But to answer your original question, yes, the buyer has the full authority and decision-making power to be able to select their own title company.
Okay, and that's key, right? Who you do business with, it always matters. So you
Absolutely.
guys are National Standard Abstract, and you're a title company, you're a business person. We live very close by in a neighborhood sense.
Right.
What else does National Standard Abstract do for the community? Because you're a businessman, you're great at what you do. What else do you guys do?
So yeah, thank you for that question. So National Standard Abstract, again, we started in 2015. We passed the $1 billion mark. And why am I saying that? I'm saying that because within the last year to year and a half almost, National Standard Abstract, myself and my son Nadir Rubie, we created a philanthropic arm called the Osei Rubie Charitable Fund. And the Osei Rubie Charitable Fund has donated over $100,000 of my personal money to Black organizations within the community that impacts within the United States. These Black organizations, such as whom the Rosedale Jets, which is in Jamaica, Queens, it's an organization that's been in business and functioning within the community for the past 40 years plus, actually. So this football athletic team is the engagement point of being able to deliver positive role models and images of our own people within the community to these young folks. So we sponsor their jerseys. It was more than just sponsoring the jerseys, though, in that when they met me, they said, well, wait a minute, how did he do that? How does he have enough money, excuse me, to do that? So then, of course, that was a conversation point and opener and saying, well, he's in real estate. Well, what kind of real estate? Title insurance, what's
Right.
that? And how did you do that? So those points of engagement provide permanent, reference points for them that resonate with them throughout their life and would potentially and hopefully inspire them to do 10 times, what we're doing now. With so many other, other organizations that focus on our people within the community that we donated to. As a matter of fact, recently we donated 27 laptops to STEM Kids NYC, who's run by Yvonne Theveno, a Black woman that actually provides STEM learning online and in person when appropriate. With the virus now, she's providing it online, but we provided 27 laptops to Black children in Harlem. So yes, those are some of the things that we have done within the 5 years of operation.
And I think something like that nowadays is huge because I have laptops and iPads all over the house,
Yeah.
and I'm fortunate in that respect. But something you may take for granted, many households can't really afford to have to do that
Exactly.
kind of home learning. It
Exactly.
wasn't until certain things came out in the social, it was like, yeah, this is a problem. How does a child, how are they able to learn from home if they don't
Right.
have a
Exactly.
laptop and the digital divide, which
That's
is the
right.
reason why I like to deal with people like yourself that do give back to the community. As you can
Yes.
imagine, I get calls all day as a realtor doing okay in this business. I want to do some business. I want to invest. Okay, and why? And what have you done for
Mhm.
any
Mhm.
community?
Right.
So the money's the money, but what have you done?
Right.
Why
Exactly.
choose you? Which is why I like to
Exactly.
deal with business people like yourself that do take the
Thank you.
time to give back. And you don't have to,
Mhm.
that's your prerogative. But I just like to,
Right.
deal with people who also give back to their community, wherever they may be. As someone
Thank you.
that's a fellow Loyaltoner, I feel great about that. A fellow guy from Queens, I like that all day, every day, twice on Sunday. I
And
got
one other thing
some friends.
you
Go
mentioned,
ahead.
sorry, about the digital divide. Lincoln University, I attended Lincoln University as the first historically black college in the nation.
Hmm.
So many greats there, Thurgood Marshall, Frederick Douglass, and so many women that went there as well, Kwame Nkrumah, and so forth. We created the Osei Rubie Technology Scholarship. We donated $25,000 there. So each year, a student will receive a MacBook Pro. And what we're reconsidering now, just had a conversation with them today, as a matter of fact, which is repurposing the funds that are still there to then now
Nice.
use it to disperse, within the next several months, more laptops to children, or rather students, young adults, with a more immediate impact. So as opposed to doing one, higher luxury item, meaning the MacBook Pro, do one that may be more cost effective and get more volume production out of that, as far as giving more of those, let's say 15 computers to students, when they return in August, as a matter of fact. So we
I,
already created last year, and had that in motion last year, and we gave a computer to a student last year, but I'm thinking of giving 15, or so laptops, so that we can create more impact in this time of crisis for our people.
I think that's excellent. And just going back to the title insurance and why you need it. Uh, let's say I'm an investor, right? Me and
Yes,
my buddy, we rubbed two nickels together, and now we are investors, right?
right,
We're all
right,
over the street. You get calls. It's a big buzzword. It's great. And I find a property in my mind is great. It's grandma's house. It's a short sale. And what do I do? Say, do I just say, hey, this is a great deal? Let me just give my cash, which I've seen people do, and try to
right,
buy the house. And before you know it, you have a problem, which is why you need someone, hopefully beforehand,
right,
to do that title search for you to kind of forecast what problems the property may have.
exactly.
And I did a deal which I believe they had a mortgage on there that was more than 25 years old or something like that. And I believe you guys were able to deem it, or was deemed ancient because
Ancient
it was too
mortgage, yeah,
old,
yeah,
right? So,
yeah.
if you didn't do something like that and you didn't find it beforehand
Mhm.
and you just did it yourself, you might have a problem. You would not have a marketable title.
That's right.
Your money's gone, your down payment, the worst shit, you bought the house. And, I've seen, as a realtor, I've seen investors bleed for not
Right,
doing their homework,
exactly.
thinking that they're smart. They don't need people. I'll just, I got my two nickels. I'll just get it done. Investor, you have a problem.
So yeah, and that's a great point to bring up. From the investor pool, from the residential multifamily, and then moving on upward as far as price value and so forth in the multi-millions. I always encourage investors at all levels to, whether it's our company or others, to do their due diligence and have a title report. Because if you have that kind of capital to deploy and allocate to a purchase of a property, it's absolutely necessary, not a luxury, but a necessity, to protect your investment with title insurance, to ensure that you have a policy that says you have clear and marketable title based upon the facts and findings included in this, report slash policy, because the policy is what you utilize to defend and protect yourself. So I think it's absolutely critical, and again, not a nice to have, but a need to have
Right.
as it pertains to doing the due diligence. Anything can pop up on these transactions, specifically on the all cash, challenging short sale transactions. It's very important that investors make sure to do their due diligence and not doing kind of back of the napkin assumptions because they feel they've been studying the property for quite some time. They look on Property Shark, whatever it is.
Right.
Perform the proper due diligence process to ensure that your investment is properly protected.
All right. So look, I'm very fortunate to have joined a national company here and international company. In fact, we do have an office, just so you know, in Costa Rica, which I was not able to go to in March. So upset. As soon as I get a chance to get back on that plane, I promise you I'm going. Um, at Keller Williams, I'm lucky because I have friends and partners that I can partner with to buy, sell, and give great information outside of New York. I have on the line Vincent Derman. Vincent, tell us a little bit about yourself and what you cover.
Absolutely. So Vincent Derman, realtor in Charlotte, North Carolina Metro. So I cover the North Carolina southern border, also South Carolina, so the Fort Mill, Rock Hill area, in addition to the Gastonia, Charlotte area of our metro. And this is great information, right? So we always, recommend that the client has title insurance, whether they are um, buying the house cash or with a loan. So it's a no-brainer.
You hope so. You
Yeah.
hope that, and that's why I like to put out great content. I also have my buddy here, Michelle Bell. Just seems like just yesterday we were sitting down having some lunch in Florida. Michelle discovering great ideas on doing back to school campaigns with teachers, and then now we're here in COVID-19.
Yeah, right. So hello, everybody. I'm Michelle Bell. I'm out of the Central Florida market. I cover anywhere from, well, the Tri-Counties, or Orange County, Osceola. I go as far as Polk, so Lakeland, Seminole as well. And thanks, Vinny, for having me on. We are a little bit different. We are a title state. So we are not an attorney state, although, buyers or sellers can choose their attorneys. In most cases, in our contracts, seller chooses the title company. And there are some benefits to that for the buyer. The seller does. The seller is going to pay for the policy, some of the policies and doc stamps and things of that sort for the buyer.
So wait, where you at, Michelle? The seller pays for the title insurance?
Yeah, well,
or settlement?
They choose the title company.
Oh, they choose it. Okay.
Counties. There's one county in South Florida where the buyer would actually have the option to do it, but in majority of the counties here, the seller does choose the title company. Now the buyer can, but they have to pay for their own owner's policy.
Okay.
So, but yeah, so that pretty much, sums it up here. That's the only difference. I encourage investors as well, cash buyers, let's just do the title work, make sure it's all free and clear. We don't want any surprises. I've had some cases, actually one case that actually came up, the title was not clear. Sadly, the buyer at the time was the current owner, and he had bought the property some years back, and it was not a free and clear title when he went to go sell it. So sadly, not having that in place, the policy in place, 15 years ago, really it almost could have hurt him regarding some work that was done to the home and things. So we were able to clear it up, but it could have been something really bad for him, for someone who really needed to get rid of that property and not have.
Okay, so for both you, Vincent and Michelle, I'm a New Yorker. I don't understand counties. Tell me the towns that I know that I can identify with. If I tell you Brooklyn, Queens, Long Island, that's details me telling you Jamaica, Queens, 50 Cent, Bed-Stuy, Biggie Smalls. So tell me the town, like Orlando or something like what? Tell
So
me the towns.
Orange County, is covered by, Orlando. And then you have Seminole County,
Okay.
Osceola County, which is like Kissimmee. People always say, well, Kissimmee, Orlando, well, they're actually two different counties. We have
Okay.
Claremont, Leesburg, Celebration. Polk County is more going to be like Lakeland. You have Hillsborough County, which is Tampa.
Okay.
Daytona is Osceola County. Volusia County. So there's different counties but we're all still. It's like a 40-minute drive to each of them. I can get to Daytona in less than an hour.
Right.
I can get to Cocoa Beach in an hour. I can also get to Tampa in an hour. So
Okay.
still close proximity, but I try to stay focused on areas in which I know, which I live in, and go from there.
Perfect.
So,
Vince, you do the same. Help me out here.
Yeah, so a few of the bigger names that you know, right? Charlotte, North Carolina, Gastonia,
Charlotte.
Mooresville, Huntsville. I'm sorry, not Huntsville, Huntersville, North
Okay.
Carolina. You also have Concord, Matthews, Mint Hill, Pineville. So those are the areas that are close to here that people will identify with.
Okay, and Vincent, in North Carolina, where you cover, what's
Yep.
the situation with title insurance and attorneys and I know each state is different.
Right. Yeah. So in our state, North and South Carolina, the buyer has the option to choose their own attorney. The seller can choose a separate attorney if they want to prepare their docs. But the buyer gets to choose their own attorney. Usually, the attorney goes through whatever title company they use to go that. Of course, that buyer still has the option if they want to kind of navigate the options of title companies as well. And of course, when you get over into investing, most times those folks choose their own title company. I would say the same advice that I give out to clients, I use myself. So even myself as an investor, even if I'm buying a house cash, I still have title insurance.
All right. And Vincent, we originally from. I'm gonna go off script for a little while because I got something funny I saw. We originally from,
right?
Vincent.
So yeah. I'm originally from Mississippi.
I got your accent.
Yeah. So Mississippi,
Okay.
deep south.
All right. And somehow, Vincent, last time we had a family reunion in New Orleans, you convinced me to taste I think it was a Gator burger.
Yeah.
And it was all right. It didn't taste like chicken, but it was all right. It was okay. It was
okay. I only had it 3 times myself. It's pretty good, right?
Yeah. Hey, you try everything once, right? Listen, I thank all you guys, and I appreciate it. Osei, I thank you for coming on once again, bringing value and content of the entire real estate, process. I appreciate your time, expertise. You can always reach out to Osei Rubie, and it's a family affair. Father and son. He's giving me, a heads up. I don't know what my son plans on doing, but who knows? If you can tolerate that, I could be like these 2 handsome gentlemen to my right. The dynasty continues.
Thank you.
And Osei, let me tell you something. And you guys that work in New York, I'm telling you, Michelle and Vincent, everything you heard about New York and its difficulties is true. There's no sugarcoating it. That number of billion may seem a lot, and the price point is higher, but we are working. When I see what you guys can do in other states, I'm amazed. We close in 30 days. 30 what? I'm just got my contract back in 30 days. And I'm happy. Thank God. It took only 30 days.
30 days. Contract to close.
Anyway, God bless y'all. Thanks, everybody. Appreciate your time. We out. All right.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you. Appreciate
Thank you,
it.
brother.
Have a good day. Stay safe, everybody.
Thanks, everyone. Take care.
All right.
Thank you.